Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to talk about the two new tank destroyer, the Canon Dassault 105, the French Tier 8 tank destroyer, and the WZ-120G the Chinese Tier 8 tank destroyer. I'm going to compare them. So you would know all about these two tanks, which is better at doing certain things, and yeah, have some crew skills recommendations and equipment recommendations. So first off, let's take a look on their price. The French one, which require 355 Hong Kong dollars. You guys need to convert that to whatever currency that your country is. So 355 on the French, and the Chinese one, which only needs 339, which is a little bit less, but pretty much a standard tier 8 tank would have, such as actually for heavy tanks these are quite expensive, like the lever, which require 400. That's unfortunate. The T34, I6, 50T, the Liberté. However, the premium heavy tank, a Chinese heavy tank with preferential matchmaking, the 112, only 348. So that is kind of weird on how Wargaming set up the premium tank prices. See, only the Patriot only needs 323, but anyway. The French one is 335. Chinese one is 339. Did I just whatever? Yeah, you can see it on the screen, but whatever. Alright, so moving on to comparing the values. So as you can see here, there's a huge difference on a DPM, because the WZ-120 using a 122mm gun is reload faster than the AMX CDA 105, which using a 105mm gun. So there's a huge DPM difference. The penetration, the Chinese one only have 248, while the French one have 260, much like the AMX 30. Is that yeah, AMX 30, the tier 9 medium tanks, yes. And the damage is the Chinese one a lot better, 440, which is very good. Compared to a standard 105 with 390 on the French one, which is not this one. Verify, ignore this, and here comes the reload time. Without any equipment and skills, the WSC will reload 9.4 seconds. The MX needs to reload 11 seconds. So if you fit it with vent and Ram, the WZ can actually go to about 8.5 seconds, I think. While the CDC only will get to like 9 seconds. So I will just show you here. So we will get the rammer and the vent. See, the TPMs go from 2,800 to 3,200 in a tier 8 tanks, a premium tanks for that matter. So let's drop the same equipment on the French one, the Assault 105. It only goes to 2,100 to 2,400. So there is quite a difference on DPM once you added the equipments in, let alone the partisan arms and food. So keep that in mind, the DPM difference. Though the penetration do not lag that much, you know, less than 20 difference. And you can always use premium rounds to compensate, right? The only major difference in the gun is the shell velocities. The French one, which same again with the AMX 30, have 1,500 shell velocity, while the Chinese one only have 1,000. Ammo capacity, well, you're not going to run out of them anyway. 35 and 40, so not much to worry about. And here's the gun handling make a comeback for the French one. You can see here the aim time is 1.92 seconds, which is very good. The Chinese one needs to aim for 2.78 seconds, which you know, it could be worse, but still not very good. Dispersion 0.35, which is pretty standard with such as the Chartier and the Rheinmetall Borsig. They both have 0.35. So if you can manage that, then you can manage this definitely. However, the Assault 105 have 0.29 accuracy, so it is very accurate. If you drop fans in, it would take down to 0.28. Okay, moving on. The Chinese one have better gun dispersion while moving the tank and traversing the tank than the French one. However, the turn traverse is worse than the Assault 105, but considering the aim time is so much lesser, it is clearly the Assault 105 would aim faster than the WZ, obviously. So I don't have the money to purchase any two of these, so I cannot accurately describe the gun handling to you guys. But yeah, here's the data and I can fairly say the Assault 105 is aim way faster than the WZ. Right, gun elevation, which nobody really cares. The AMX have -8 degrees of gun depression, which is, you know, pretty standard for a tank destroyer. But surprisingly, the WZ have 6 degrees of gun depressions, which not a lot of Chinese tank have these kind of gun depressions. They both traverse 10 degrees left and right, so there's that. Mobility wise, the Assault 105 definitely better at some aspect. So let's say the top speed is faster, 5 kilometers to be precise. The reverse speed is less 2 kilometers. So well, that doesn't make a whole lot of difference in let's say you poke around the ridge line and then you pull back. So that do not make a whole lot of difference. Engine power wise, the WZ have 580, Assault 105 have 720. That gives both of them a fairly meaty power to weight ratio, especially on the Assault 105, which has 26. Uh, in a tank destroyer. So this can really shift the battles. However, the WZ only have 16, but keep in mind 16 isn't half bad either. For the hidden statistic of the turn resistance, the WZ definitely better than the Assault 105. So it's kind of balance it out for the lack of power to weight ratio compared to the Assault 105. But still, I think the Assault 105 will get to this top speed easier than the WZ. However, the tank traverse is way too different. You can easily think of the WZ is a bigger version of the 12244, right? 12244. Yeah. The premium tier 7, is it? Tier 7 version. Yeah, SU 12244. Yes, you can pretty much say that is a bigger brothers, because the tank traverse is very good at 43 degrees, while the Assault 105 only have 30. Well, 29, but 30. So it pretty much turns like the AMX 30 or the AMX CDC. So they turn pretty slowly on their hull. So that pretty much covers it. Now come to armor and health. The WZ have 120 on the front, 80 on the side, and 45 at the rear. The Assault 105 has 100 at the front, 40 at the side, and 30 on the rear. Now let's check the armor profile on the WZ first. So this whole front plate, the orange one, is 120, while the red one is 140 down here, 160 around the gun, I guess. This one, 160. So from the front, on level field, it has 200 effectiveness, right? On the upper plate. The lower plate is trash, so hide it in all cost. It does have two little cupolas, so if it is trying to poke around the hills, you can actually shoot them, but you need to shoot it very close. There is only a tiny windows that you can shoot. I hope you guys can see it, but this area you can shoot, but the upper part is just no, because you're never going to penetrate, because it is very well angled. So as you can see here, this is all ricochet, but the lower part is fine. So if you have nowhere to shoot, or you have a lower penetrating gun, and can't get into its low plate, then you can try this one. This one is a lot easier though, so I recommend the left one. However, when we actually see this tank, there's a lot of things are in the way. So you can see here, this thing actually do not exist on the hitbox. So don't try to hit this thing. Hit behind it like this, like the bottom of this machine gun here. So how do you angle these things? Well, it got 80s of side armor upper part and 60 lower part, which is quite useful from time to time. So you can do something like this. If you engaging your enemy, you can the enemy is here, you can pretty much angle like this. So that will probably give you a very good auto ricochet on the upper part, and you know, the side is quite bad, but you gotta hope the enemies do not shoot it. Or you can angle it better, but then the front part will become weaker. So it's decided to you. But as a tank destroyer with its mobility and the gun, this is quite heavily armed already. So you will get 220 at least 220 effective armor. So the Tiger 2 IS-3, IS-3A, Patriot, well, not the Patriot, but you know, the traditional tier 8 heavy tank will not have enough penetration because they all have 225. So they have 50-50% chance to go through your tank. The lower plate is utter trash, so hide it. There's nothing more you can do. Try to wriggle forwards and backwards, so to confuse your enemies. Okay, moving on to the rear of this tank. There's only 30 meters of effective armor. So if you have high explosive, or the lower part only have 45. So you have any high explosive, just use it on this area, and you will get penetration damage. So that is pretty much the WZ-120G FT for you guys. Right. Oh, also the view range is very good, 380 for a tank destroyer. Rather than the assault run only have 360, which the normal tank destroyer would have. Fire trans 12% and 15%. So nothing special about it. Right. So let's check the assault run 5's armor profile. As you can see, it is slightly taller, slightly taller than the WZ, mainly because this huge cupola up top. Let's turn on visual. As you can see here. Also, frankly, this view, what's it called? It used to calculate the target range. The viewport is count as the hitbox, which I have no idea why. Same like in the T29, the ES, right? So this whole upper part is very easy to hit and penetrate. Only have 80 here, 100 here, 100 here. Only if you can hit this very edge of this cupola that you will get a bounce. So yeah, from the front it is 100 millimeters here, 120 on this side, the angled side, and 70 up the front. What is this? Oh, this is the lower plate. 80 on the lower plate. Same as the WZ, and I got a little bit of 30 millimeters on the lower part, but you know, you're never going to shoot here. So what is this thing strength? It is 8 degrees of gun depression. So if you're using your 8 degrees of gun depressions, let's say somewhere here, the whole thing will become auto ricochet. For this part, and this part will become auto ricochet 7 degrees, right? This part will still have 220-ish of effective armor. You can still see the whole upper part of the cupola, which is very unfortunate. Which because it means when you're holding like this, the enemy can still have shots on your weak points. Unlike the WZ, if you are using your gun depressions, you angle your frontal armor even more, and you don't have a cupola. You can get 250 all around your upper plate, which is quite strong by any means, because you know, you can potentially tank a ISU-152 with its new Top Gun only have 260 of penetrations. So if it rolls slightly lower, you can actually pound this, which is amazing. I think the WZ have too much of a frontal armor with its gun handling, so high DPM and not bad accuracy. With that speed and tank traverse, I think the WZ shouldn't have this kind of armor. But anyways, let's get back to the Assault Room 5. So if you use gun depressions, enemy can still shoot you here. I call it the cheeks, right? Because you know the gunman are left and right, so it is the cheeks and your cupola. So if you are in a very close range and try to poke some heals to get to your enemies, you're likely to get shot back, and it will penetrate your cupolas unless he hit a very funky angles, you know. But yeah, your whole upper plate is auto ricochet zone. So for medium to long range, yeah, you can get away with it because enemy shots will most likely land in this area and in around the man level, right? So that is the armor profile of the Assault Room 5. Okay, let's go back. For equipment recommendations, I recommend since the WZ-120 have a 380 view range, I recommend go to optics and vent, and then rammer, because you can maximize the DPM. See, 8 seconds for 440 damage with 248 penetration, which is very good. This is a tier 10 DPM class, so it is just monstrous. So you can have food and brothers in arms. So you have 450, which is pretty standard for the game matters right now. You need to get at least 445 wherever you can, and it also boosts your accuracy, aim time, 7.64 now, seconds to reload, 3,400 damage per minute. See, this tank is just, you know, broken in my opinion. You got, if you use heat, you got 310, so you can pretty much contest the front of E100 and a mouse, even in close range, you know. Well, unless they are face hugging you because you're so low profile that you cannot shoot their cheeks, but you might be able to shoot their lower plate, who knows. So 310 millimeters of heat pen, which is very nice. And yeah, pretty much all tank destroyer have these kind of things, unless it is a British one. So if you do not have a very good crew, your crew, right? So you can drop the flint for binos and camouflage net. Do not use food, do not have this fancy skill. You still get 475 view range. Sacrifice a little bit of damage, DPM, about a second. But you gain a lot of camo rating while you're sitting stationary and have a huge view range boost. Right. So that basically covers the WZ-121G FT. Right, the equipment and skills. You know, pretty much the same old tank destroyer. Go get camouflage, and then 6 cents for the commander. If you have second skill, change it to Brothers in Arms, camouflage, and 6 cents again. If you reach third skill, you can take recon, situation event. Actually, the commander is radio as well, so you take situation awareness or repair for the rest of your crew. Or maybe you can take smooth ride. Smooth ride. It decreases a little bit of gun dispersion while moving, but just a little bit. So I wouldn't recommend you use these two, smooth ride and snapshot, unless you really want to improve the gun handling on the move. So, Alright, moving on to the Assault Cannon 105. Canon Assault 105. Based on it only have 360 view range, pretty much need to use a binos. So if you are going to use binos, why not a camouflage net as well? That's what I thought. Cruise, pretty much the same. Actually, it is the same, because the commander is also a radio man. I don't believe that you can use the same tricks. Yeah, you cannot. Well, you can. 445. I think the game will take this 0.86 and turn it into 445 meters of view range if you have the very skilled crew setup. But you know, not everybody have these kind of skills in their arsenal. So pretty much the same as the WZ-121G FT. You know, binos, camonet, rammers, the standard tank destroyer thing. Crew skill, covered that. Tank covered. Oh right, the premium rounds. Same as the Chinese one. You get 310 penetrations with 390 alpha damage. You know, which is not very good because they cost the same. As you can see here, they both cost 4,800, but one is 390 damage, one is 440 with the same penetrations, the same shell velocity. Wargaming, you're so silly. So that pretty much sums it up for the Assault 105 and the WZ-120G FT, both tier 8 tank destroyers. Well, personally, I think the WZ is way better because it got those big alpha damage and reload speed. Yes. I think the WZ will have more camo rating as well. Because of how the cupolas, you know, just everybody sees it. So tall. So I guess the camo rating is worse for the Assault 105. So make up your minds. Hopefully you buy the one that you like, and that pretty much sums up today's episode or videos, whatever you want to call it. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I find it informative, and I will see you in the next one.